You see your wife struggling with something, and your instinct is to fix it. That's what love looks like to you. Seeing a problem and solving it so she doesn't have to keep dealing with it. But here's what keeps happening. You offer solutions, and she gets frustrated. You're confused because you're trying to help, and somehow that's making things worse instead of better. Let me explain something that's going to sound backwards at first. Listening to your wife is actually more helpful than solving her problems, and once you understand why, your entire approach to supporting her is going to change. Here's the thing most men don't get. Your wife isn't broken. She doesn't need you to rescue her. She's a capable adult who knows how to solve problems. She does it all day long at work, with the kids, in every area of her life. When she tells you about a problem, she's not asking you to fix her. She's asking you to be with her while she processes what she's dealing with. There's a huge difference between those two things. Think about it like this. You come home from work and tell her about a frustrating meeting. What do you need in that moment? Probably not a strategy session on how to handle your boss differently. You just need to let off steam about how annoying that meeting was. That's what your wife needs too. Talking about the problem is how she processes it. Sharing it with you is how she lets go of the stress so she can move on with her day. When you jump straight to solutions, you're essentially saying, "Stop processing and let me fix this so we can move on." But she's not ready to move on. She's still in the middle of working through it. Here's what happens when you listen instead of solve. She feels heard. She feels like her experience matters. She feels like you're her partner, not her consultant. And feeling heard? That's what actually helps her. Not your brilliant solution to the logistics. Your presence with her emotional experience. Let me show you what this looks like in practice. She tells you about a difficult conversation with her mother. You can see exactly what she should have said differently. You know how to fix this situation. If you offer that advice, she's probably going to get frustrated, because she doesn't need a script for a conversation that already happened. She needs you to acknowledge how hard that conversation was. Try this instead. That sounds really difficult. I know your relationship with your mom is complicated. That's it. You're not fixing anything. You're just acknowledging the difficulty of what she's dealing with. And that acknowledgement is what she actually needed. Now here's where men get stuck. You think listening without offering solutions means you're just sitting there being useless, like you're not contributing anything. But here's what you're missing. Listening is contributing. Being fully present while someone works through something is actually doing something. You're providing the emotional support that makes processing possible. Think about the difference between talking to someone who's actually listening versus someone who's just waiting for their turn to give advice. You can feel that difference, right? One feels like support. The other feels like being rushed through your feelings. Your wife can feel that difference too. When you're truly listening, not mentally preparing your solution, she knows it. And that presence is what helps her. Here's another way to think about it. When your wife tells you about a problem, she's not outsourcing the solution to you. She's including you in her process. She already knows what her options are most of the time. What she doesn't have is someone to witness what she's going through. Someone who cares enough to be present with the difficulty without trying to make it disappear. That's what you can give her that she can't get anywhere else. Now I know what you're thinking. But what if she actually does need help? What if there's something I could do that would make this easier for her? Fair question. Sometimes she does want your input. The key is knowing when. If she asks for your thoughts, that's your green light. What do you think I should do? Or, do you have any ideas? Those are invitations to problem solve. But if she's just telling you what happened and how she feels about it, assume she needs listening, not solving. You can always ask, do you want me to help you think through this? Or do you just need to vent, if you're not sure? Most of the time, the answer is going to be, I just need to vent. And when you honor that by just listening, you're giving her exactly what she needs. Here's what listening actually looks like when you do it well. She's telling you about something stressful. You're not on your phone. You're not thinking about work. You're actually present with what she's saying. You notice not just the words, but how she's feeling. Is she frustrated? Overwhelmed? Hurt? You pick up on the emotion underneath the story. When she's done, you don't immediately jump to, well, here's what you should do. Instead, you acknowledge what you heard. That sounds incredibly stressful. No wonder you're exhausted. You're validating her emotional experience. That's listening, and that's what helps. Here's what not to do when your wife is telling you about a problem. Don't multitask while she's talking. If you're scrolling your phone or watching TV, you're not really listening even if you can repeat back what she said. Don't interrupt her story to offer solutions halfway through. Let her finish. If you jump in with advice before she's done talking, you're showing her you weren't listening. You were just waiting to problem solve. Don't say, "At least it's not worse," or minimize what she's dealing with by comparing it to bigger problems. Her feelings are valid regardless of whether someone else has it harder. And don't get defensive if what she's telling you involves you somehow. If she mentions something that bothers her and you're part of it, don't immediately defend yourself. Just listen first. You can address your perspective after she feels heard. Here's the deeper truth about why listening matters more than solving. Your wife doesn't need you to be her fixer. She needs you to be her safe place. A safe place is where she can share what she's really feeling without it being minimized, solved away, or turned into an argument. Where her emotional experience is acknowledged as real and important. When you listen instead of solve, you're creating that safety. You're showing her, "I care about how you're experiencing this, not just about making the problem go away." That's intimacy. That's connection. That's what makes a marriage feel like partnership instead of just two people managing logistics together. And here's what's wild. When you consistently listen instead of solve, something shifts. She actually starts sharing more. Because she knows when she tells you something, you're going to be present with it instead of trying to fix it. That vulnerability, that willingness to share what's really going on with her, that only happens when listening is your default instead of solving. Think about your own life. When you're dealing with something difficult, do you want someone to immediately tell you what to do? Or do you want someone to acknowledge how hard it is first? Most of us want the acknowledgement. We want someone to see us struggling and say, "Yeah, that's really hard." That validation helps us carry the weight. Your wife is the same way. She doesn't need you to eliminate every difficulty in her life. She needs you to acknowledge the difficulty exists and that you're with her in it. When you do that, when you listen to understand rather than listen to solve, you're giving her something more valuable than any solution. You're giving her the feeling that she's not alone in whatever she's dealing with. And that's what actually helps. So next time your wife tells you about a problem, take a breath. Resist the urge to jump to solutions. Just listen. Pay attention to how she's feeling. Acknowledge what she's experiencing. Try saying, "That sounds really hard," or "I can see why that's bothering you." And then just stop. Don't add advice. Don't add perspective. Just be there with her and what she's going through. That simple shift, from solving to listening, that's what transforms how she experiences you in these moments. From consultant to companion, from fixer to partner. And that's what she's been asking for all along. Comment below. Is it hard for you to listen without trying to fix? What makes it difficult? If you want more help with this kind of communication, grab the ebook. Links in the first comment or my bio.